Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I've got Jonathan Rose on with me. He's with prophecyclubgold.com. Also, the other number where you can get the what do you call them? The little slabs of the prepper bars. Anyway, okay, so you live in California. Welcome to the Prophecy Club.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm glad I'm back here, and it's definitely been a dicey time living here in California. I can tell you that.
Well, that was my first question. Okay, so tell us about the fire. Has it bothered you? How close are you to it? Have you had some emergencies, or what's going on?
Emergencies, yes. And I will start off, when the government fails you, okay, and we are left in a predicament where there's not enough water to combat these fires, and you have these terrible leadership at the top, Gavin Newsom. You also have Mayor Karen Bass, completely failed the people, failed California. Yes, I am in Southern California in a place, and I'll tell people where I live. I live in a city called Calabasas. So funny enough, directly below me was the Pacific Palisades fire, which first and foremost people heard about. So we were actually put on a fire alert because of the Palisades fire, because we're up here, Palisades is down below us in a canyon. And we could see the smoke, and my wife and I thinking, oh boy, they're telling us that we're on alert. There's like a ready phase, a set phase, and a go phase. So they immediately put us on phase 2, which is set. And that means you're meant to pack, be ready, grab your bags, because if you hit number 3, that's go, and it's mandatory evacuation.
You're doing this from your home because you're on alert right now, fire alert.
Actually, I'm back on alert now. Absolutely. So what happened was we was watching the Palisades fire, and then a rock throw from me is a city called Hidden Hills. Hidden Hills probably really has become famous over the years for a lot of celebrities living there, even the Kardashians. So Hidden Hills is a community, a rock throw from us, and all of a sudden an arson attack started another fire in Hidden Hills. So in the back of my garden, you guys say yard, but doesn't garden just sound a lot nicer? You think of garden, you think of rolling greens and plants and shrubberies. I think of yard, I think of concrete. So in the back of my garden is a ridge line, and on this ridge line now I'm seeing another set of fires and smokes. We can see the flames, and I look at my wife, and it's almost like a fight or flight. I had like a spike of adrenaline, and I'm thinking, this is it. We are going to lose our house. We are going to lose everything. And we already had some bags packed, but I set a timer for 20 minutes. And I told my wife, Tiffany, I said, got 20 minutes. Let's pack some more bags. We're going to have to leave. I do not like the look of this fire. I think this is it. So, it was a mad dash around the house. I was grabbing more photo frames, a lot of photos that my family members had given me. I actually have photos that are over 100 years old, like from family members. So these are unreplaceable items, unlike my wife who was packing bags and shoes. Look at I figured out who's the sentimental one. It turned out to be me. So it was it was physically and mentally stressful. So we packed up 2 cars. We have 2 dogs as well. And it was 24 hours of, do we evacuate? Do we not evacuate? And that's mentally kind of draining on the time. You're watching the television, you're seeing the smoke. What do? You're trying to make a decision. Freeways are already blocked. All the cars are there. Your heart's pounding, your adrenaline's going. Eventually, thank God, we did make the right decision. We packed everything up. We got into the car. We left. It was like an orange sky. It looked like a zombie apocalypse. It was like a bad movie. Police were everywhere. Helicopters were everywhere. Streets were already closed off. The roads were packed. We jumped on the freeway with every single body else that was on the freeway. And my wife and I, mother-in-law, the dogs, suitcases, we drove down to Orange County thinking, are we ever going to see our house again? So we ended up there for 3 days. We're watching the news. Thank goodness, for a lot of prayers and a lot of worry, our house was fine. Our neighborhood was fine. Unfortunately, can't be said the same about many other people I know. Even people in our office stand, their parents lost their houses. People I know lost their houses. And it's actually a traumatic experience.
So where are you right now? Is your house in danger now?
It is. There's another fire now. So there's still fires going on in Southern California. The Palisades fire is still burning. I think it's about 46 or 55% contained. There's another fire in Santa Clarita. I'm not sure if you know that area or not, but it's probably an hour north for me. So yes, the high winds, we're on wind advisories. So that's been the problem, where these firefighters can't control the ambers because they're blowing because of the winds. And more importantly, like I mentioned, when your government fails you, there's not enough water. These fire hydrants have been empty. And what I may just want to add, I've been very fortunate, but other houses in these areas, the insurance companies cancelled their insurance 2 months prior. You may have been reading about this. So there's people whose houses are burnt down, they don't have insurance. And these are people that are probably just going to have to sell their house now for land value and just move on.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so let's get on to the exciting news. You've got some exciting news about cryptocurrency. What's going on?
Very excited about cryptocurrencies. So I've been a big believer in gold and precious metals. You've had me on the show multiple times. And when we first met, I told you I used to listen to your show in 1997, and that kind of amazed you and amazed me too. And I've always been a believer in gold, and there's always been a place for precious metals in your portfolio, particularly in IRAs and 401ks. I was actually introduced into cryptocurrencies a couple times in my career. The second time was in 2015, 2016. I was adopting assets like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoins, Ethereum, into my IRAs, and I stopped doing it because I just wasn't a believer in it. It was too early for the adoption. Fast forward to today, especially under a Trump presidency, this is the era for cryptocurrencies, and he's made this perfectly clear. I think cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin is not only going to be adopted, but it's going to be used to secure our Federal Reserve, our vaults, our spending, and we're proud to announce that we have a company called Block Trust IRA, and through Block Trust IRA, you can roll over your IRA, your 401k, your TSP, any type of retirement plan, or even cash into cryptocurrencies, where you can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, 60 other cryptocurrencies. And the biggest thing with cryptocurrencies is twofold. Like myself, back in 2015, I wasn't educated enough to understand it. Well, today, the price of Bitcoin is roughly about $100,000 a Bitcoin. It still blows my mind. But the main thing is over the next 4 to 5 years, cryptocurrencies are not only here to stay, but if you don't have assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum in your retirement plan, you're financially going to get left behind. So many millionaires have been created by cryptocurrencies, and cryptocurrencies is really an asset now that you have to include in your retirement account. The biggest problem is people don't understand it. How do I buy it? How does it work? So we have a platform now called Block Trust IRA. And what this platform does, it does twofold. It, number one, lets you roll over tax deferred. You can pick any cryptocurrencies you want. We help you do it. We hold your hands the whole way. And we call this non-managed accounts. It's almost like you're going to do this yourself. You're going to pick your own cryptocurrencies, and it's a buy and hold strategy. The other strategy is what we call managed accounts. Now, we are very proud of this because we are the first company in America to offer managed accounts in an IRA. Well, what does that mean? Well, when you purchase a cryptocurrency, the same when you purchase gold, the strategy there is buy and hold. You buy the gold or you buy cryptocurrency, you hold it, and when you sell it, you hope that you're selling it for more than you purchased it for. That's a buy and hold strategy. One of the issues with cryptocurrencies is it's been inherently volatile. There's been big price swings up, big price swings down, and that scared a lot of people off. Well, not anymore, because we have something called managed accounts. And with managed accounts, we are able to capitalize on the upside of cryptocurrency, and we're also able to capitalize on the downside of cryptocurrency.
In other words, you win if it goes up, you win if it goes down.
Yes, we manage risks. Now, when you say that, I want to let you know it's not an exact science where we know every time it's going to go up, every time it's going to go down. But for example, last year in 2024, this strategy outperformed Bitcoin by over 55%. So whatever Bitcoin did, which was an absolutely phenomenal run, this strategy increased over 55% over the strategy of Bitcoin. So when people invest, let's say with a financial advisor, they come in, they're working an 8 to 5 job, they're buying a stock, they're selling a stock, they go home, they're eating their dinner. Well, they can't trade anything if something happens outside of the markets in another country in a different time zone. Today, we have these AI, artificial intelligence strategies, that gives these traders the signals where they're collecting millions of data points. Who's the president? Who was running for the president? What's happening on social media? What's happening with interest rates? What's everything? And these give us the signals whether to be purchasing or selling it, and it does it for you through what we call managed accounts. So whether you want to purchase Bitcoin, hold on to it yourself, or you want someone to manage it for you, which is, by the way, there's a company called Bitcoin Magazine. They're the authority on everything Bitcoin. This strategy won an award in 2023 as the #1 Bitcoin trading strategy in America. And not just America, in the world. The strategy got entered into this competition with over 2,000 companies, and this strategy won first place, and it also won $1 million with Bitcoin Magazine. They have a 7 years audited financials. I have my IRA rollover into there myself. A lot of advertisers I work with, once they see the strategy, they roll over their IRAs into this because it's like nothing they've ever seen before. And again, if you're going to invest in cryptocurrency, the first place I like to start is in education. A lot of people need to have an understanding. They hear it all the time. Is it right for me? What is cryptocurrencies? How does it work? It's really designed best to put into an IRA or 401k because you can defer those gains. That's the amazing thing about it. So again, if they want to know more about cryptocurrency in the IRA, they can go to blocktrustira.com, mention that they heard us through the Prophecy Club, and we'll waive any setup fees. They're minimal, but we'll be able to waive that for them. We are 50% cheaper than any other company out there in terms of trading fees. The only difference is that we have a strategy that only normally hedge funds have. And this is the first time a strategy like this that's only been put aside for the elite institutional investors that's now been available to retail investors in an IRA or 401k. So next time I'm on air with you, we can talk about it a little bit more. I'll give your viewers a special link. But if they wanted to look at it today, they can go to blocktrustira.com. I'm sure you can probably put that up on the screen. And then we can send them some information. They can schedule a Zoom appointment with us. We walk through the process. It's extremely easy. And again, it's a very exciting time to be in cryptocurrencies. And if you're not in cryptocurrencies right now, you know, your IRA and 401k is going to get left behind because Trump has put the seal of approval on cryptos, specifically Bitcoin, and it's going to be a very, very bullish run for cryptocurrencies here in the next 4 to 5 years. And a lot of people out there who have retirement accounts definitely want to be on the upside of what's about to happen next in that space.
Okay, now the big question. The thing that I have been telling people, if they have an IRA or a 401k and they don't want to lose it in some kind of a crash, or if they have a large amount of money in the bank or some kind of other paper where it can all be lost or just disappear somehow, very smart for them to call 800-200-GOLD and to put that into precious metals, something that is tangible that they can hold. Crypto's not tangible, so how is that going to work? Isn't that kind of going in the wrong direction?
Well, if you look at the historical charts for gold and Bitcoin, they are definitely very favorable for this current administration. When you look at the adoption of Bitcoin, it was the same with me. It took me a long time. Even Warren Buffett has now done a U-turn where he's referred to Bitcoin as rat poison. Now, this week, he's done a U-turn, a hands up, and is like, you know what? I was wrong. Bitcoin is here to stay. This is the Bitcoin era. I want to do my portfolio. Now, keep in mind, Genesis Gold Group doesn't sell cryptocurrencies. What Genesis Gold Group is we sell physical metals. So if they want to purchase gold or assets like silver, and they want something tangible that they can hold on to, then obviously Genesis Gold Group, and I know you have a link for that, which I'm sure you'll share with your audience at some point, you know, we're able to help put precious metals in there. If they're looking for cryptocurrencies, and learning more about that process, then obviously Block Trust IRA is going to be the solution there. You would think it's counterintuitive having something that's a tangible asset versus something that's a not tangible asset. But really, this is where the word diversification really comes into.
Okay,
You
so
don't
we're talking about preserving wealth. With this idea, we're talking about increasing the wealth. So
creating wealth.
people that want to preserve it, and if you do, 800, 200 gold. If you have some, or maybe in a portion of your portfolio that you want to increase, you want to get a chance to increase it, then the blocktrustira.com is the way to go.
Correct.
Do I have that right?
You have that right.
Now, you hit on a big question, and that is what's a crypto? How does this thing work? And this Block Trust IRA website will explain this to them.
Yeah, not only will it explain it to them, but we can send them an e-guide that they put in their name, phone number, and email address. We will send them a guide about cryptocurrencies, what is cryptocurrencies, how you can utilize it in your portfolio. And more importantly, is you can actually set up a free consultation call where you can book an appointment with one of the cryptocurrency traders. They will walk you through some of their strategies. Maybe you just want to buy cryptocurrencies by yourself and you don't want any strategies. I don't know. Everyone has choices. But the point here is you have choices to add it to your portfolio, and there's kind of a menu box to kind of tick as you go along to kind of help you. We have a lot of seasoned professionals that invest in cryptocurrencies with us, and then there's a lot of newbies, and these newbies are, I understand what cryptocurrencies offer. How do I buy it? How do I even put this in? I didn't even know I could put this into an IRA or 401k. So they're looking for the guidance. So what Block Trust IRA is a platform that offers people guidance, answers a lot of questions, and then shows them, whilst literally holding their hand over the telephone, on the steps to roll over an IRA, an existing 401k, and how you can add cryptocurrencies to your retirement portfolio. And it's really as simple as that.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to the other idea, back to the gold and silver for preservation of wealth. In other words, if they've got an IRA, 401k, it's basically in paper. Should the stock market crash, or if they have it in the bank, or if they have it in some form of paper, Lindsay Williams says that if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. And so if they want to preserve it, or a portion of it, they call you and you can walk them through that, and they can actually possess, not in their possession, but stored for them, gold, silver, or some kind of precious metals. Tell us about that. How does that situation work?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of hit the nail on the head. A lot of people that call in have existing IRAs. Maybe they're listening to the news right now because people are calling for 15 to 20% correction in the S&P 500. Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan, thinks the stock market's grossly overvalued. The bond market also, there's a lot of issues there where it's grossly overvalued because high interest rates have kind of depleted the returns and made bond investing very risky. And when you have retirement accounts, people invest in bonds. So now they're looking for something else that's going to be very conservative, limited downside, and they're looking at gold because it's a preservation of wealth, like you just mentioned. So maybe you have a portfolio with Merrill Lynch or Charles Schwab. And really what we do here is we help clients initiate what we call a tax-free rollover. So no penalties to do this, no fees. You're rolling over your existing IRA, 401k, or retirement plan from one side, boom, to the other side. Now, when it lands on the other side, you're going to need a new custodian. So we work with a few custodians here in America. Once the funds arrive there, the investors get notified and people at Genesis Gold Group get notified. And then we set up what we call a metals consultation call. On that call, we go over diversification split. How much gold do you want? How much is it silver? Do you want any platinum? Is it palladium? They're in the driver's seat. We're the navigators on that part, but people are still the captain. So they get to pick what coins and bars they'd like in their portfolio. Once that's been agreed upon and signed off, then those metals are purchased. They're then stored in a licensed depository. We use a depository called DDSE, Delaware Depository Services. They're in Wilmington, Delaware. And that's where your metals are held. It's like the Fort Knox of metals holdings. So now you have a new custodian, you have physical metals held at the licensed depository, but now you have a statement online that you check, like an online portal like you did before. The only difference is rather than being invested in paper, which we consider high risk right now, you have physical metals that are line items in your portfolio. And then the next step is, and a lot of people forget this, and I think one of the things that distinguishes ourselves with other companies is people are often, I want in, I want to buy, I want to buy, I want to buy. They don't ask the questions about, well, what about selling? What does that look like? Is that easy? So we pride ourselves on our liquidation department, where we can turn around liquidations in 3 to 5 days, because sometimes people liquidate, they need the funds. It's physical metals, you can turn it back into paper, funds are deposited back into your account. Or sometimes, Stan, and I'd say a high percentage, is people take distributions, but they then take the distributions in the form of metals itself. So they take delivery of that straight to their home. And that's something also we would recommend, because there's nothing quite like holding onto the metals yourself, unless obviously you need the funds. So you've got one on me today, because I'm at home and I probably have some of those in my drawer. So these are very unique pieces here. This is something we developed and manufactured ourselves. They're also eligible for IRAs. And if you notice the grooves on them, there's 3, and they're wafer thin too, but I call these wealth in your wallet. The top row, 20th of an ounce, middle row, 1/4 of an ounce, bottom row, 1/10 of an ounce. And these are divisible pieces you can break off. If a case of an emergency comes, or you're a prepper, you can use these prepper bars, so to speak, in case of an emergency. Or better yet, you can put it in your IRA. It's the only divisible bar you'll see that's made in America. It says made in the USA, and they're only available exclusively at Genesis Gold Group. And again, they can get those by going to Prophecy Club Gold, I believe, and I know you'll put that in the link. But we're very proud of the Prepper Bar. They've been a huge success. We also have them in gold as well. So again, it's all part of a diversification strategy. Maybe you want a gold bar, maybe you want smaller denominations.
The advantage of the Prepper Bar is it's about the size of a business card, or excuse me, a credit card. A little bit thicker, but you can put it in your purse, put it in your billfold, carry it with you. So you pull up at the gas station, all the electricity's out. No, we can't take your credit card. Well, you can pull out one of these, and you can probably get some gasoline. So it gives you something small and portable that's metal, that is probably going to, or you find yourself on a vacation, you got kicked out of your house because it's burning. It's nice to have some Prepper bars with you, because maybe they aren't taking credit cards. Okay. All right. So now let me get to the big question. There's lots of gold companies out there. And I know from real experience, sad to say, that there are some that rip people off. And so the big question is, what's the difference between your company and all the other metal selling companies? Why call you?
Good question. Obviously, I don't want to disparage any companies that are obviously out there, but I think the main reason why people do business with us is, number one, transparency. We're very ethical when it comes to pricing, very competitive. We're also a faith-based company, Stan, as you know. And I think a lot of people feel comfortable and would rather work with a faith-based company. And that's something we actually pride ourselves on. Even the people we work with who are our brand ambassadors, they're Christian in faith. Dean Cain, he's an actor, not sure if you remember him, Superman, but he's a great Christian, and he walks the walk, talks the talk, and works with only Christian movie studios. The same with Neil McDonough. Not sure if you know Neil McDonough. He's in everything right now. If you was to Google him, you'll see him, or even go to our site. Again, the only reason why he chose to work with us was because we're a faith-based company. And then just touching on something I mentioned earlier is, when people are looking to purchase gold, one of the most common questions I feel that people forget to ask is, how easy is this to sell?
Right.
People forget to ask that, or people find out that once they sell, they're being charged a commission when they sell. We don't charge commissions. when we sell. In fact, when we sell metals back through distributions, we pay full market value. We don't make a penny of that. The entire value of the gold or silver contents or the metals contents goes directly to the investor. So they get an unparalleled customer service through Genesis Gold Group. They're working with a faith-based company. They're getting extremely competitive prices, and we're very transparent. And that these are all the factors that I believe separates us and why people choose to work with us.
Okay, wait a minute. Maybe I misunderstood you. Did you say that when you sell your gold, silver, your precious metals, you don't have a markup in it? And if you buy it back, you don't have a markup in that?
When obviously, so how Genesis Gold Group make their money is obviously when people buy metals, that's when there's what's called a spread involved when purchasing a coin. That spread, like on a bullion product, can be as little as 5%. So spreads on bullion products can be very minimal. When we go to sell a metal back, we don't charge a commission, a fee, whatever the spot price of gold is trading at. Our clients get full market value. There's
Okay.
other companies out there that do charge a fee or do charge commissions. We do not.
So if they call saying, I've got a pile of metal here I want to sell, you're saying you don't mark that up.
Definitely not.
You give them the very best price for that metal, period.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Okay. Well, we are about out of time. And you call 800-200-GOLD. You go to blocktrustira.com to find out about the cryptocurrency, blocktrustira.com. And of course, if they ask you any references, it's Prophecy Club, and they'll take care of you. Anything else you want to say?
No, I know it's been a few weeks since you and I have talked, so I'm glad that we're back on. It's the beginning of the year. I think the beginning of this year, obviously, people kind of still hung over with the new Trump administration and everything that's going into effect. But I think come April, March, be proactive, because, these new tariffs that are being inflicted on overseas countries, that's going to be very fearful for inflation. People already saying the stock market's 15 to 20% overvalued, especially when you look at some of these famed traders. They're liquidating. One trader, Michael Burry, liquidated $70 million this week in his own personal holdings.
Stock market's going up.
Well, they're looking at indicators. What they're looking at, Stan, is they're looking at the price earnings of these companies do not exceed the stock price. So the valuations of these companies aren't supporting a higher stock price right now. So that's an alarm signal. That's a red bell. So all of a sudden, what's fueling the stock market is a lot of greed. So people need to know when to take the chips off of the table. So a lot of these famed traders, whether it be Warren Buffett, Michael Burry, they see that it's overvalued. How long could it go up for? Could go up further. Could they lose out on opportunity of more money? Absolutely, yes. But they're not prepared to gamble tens of millions, if not billions of dollars on something that's hot air right now. So I think give it some time. There's going to be a pullback in the stock market, and to be prepared for that.
Well, Jonathan Rose, thank you, my brother. Thank you for coming on, explaining all these things, and come back again soon.
I would love to. It's been too long. I'd love to be back on. I appreciate talking to you. Always a pleasure. Like I said, I've known you for a long time, so it's always an honor doing these podcasts with you.
Yeah, God bless you.
God bless you.